Okay, so with a 15, he says, well, I gotta be honest with you. They really don't tell me much about what we're actually doing here. We're mostly just moving big boxes and discreet cargo, and I can't talk about it too much. You make a good point. Maybe I could do a little bit better than this. Uh, How about this? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to give Butch my best. I'm gonna see if I can't earn his trust and get in his inner circle. And you know what? If he doesn't let me in, I think you make a good point. I deserve better, and I will march right back out here, and I'll tell him I quit, and I'll follow you instead. You seem pretty smart, pretty sharp.
Yeah, we only partners, we only buddies in this. Like, I got you.
Oh, okay. Okay. And he kind of sits
She
up.
really quickly is gonna grab out from her bag like a little piece of paper and scribble down like a drop site in like a couple of different, these are a couple of different drop sites that if you got information you want to share with me, we can get in on this together, ways that I can help. Like, these are my drop sites. Get me the information you need. We got partnership, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't leave. Don't leave. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to do this real quick. I'll let you know how it goes. You just stay here. I'm gonna walk inside right now, and I'm either gonna come out here with a promotion, or or you're gonna be my new boss. And he
Okay, sounds good.
straightens up his back, kind of sticks his chin out, and he walks in the room. And he rolls. All right. Well, today we find ourselves in the city of Twilight Reach. This is the royal city in the nation of Cresponte. It's comprised of several shining academic universities and colleges, from magicians and sorcerers to engineers, and of course, in the center of the city is the royal palace, where the Loxodon leaders of the nation have led since its origin, since this nation was founded. Here, it's mostly people that are native to Cresponte. It's a little bit different, say, from the bustling marketplace of Porto Luz. It's a little bit higher class here, but like any major city, it's got its different areas, the fancier areas and the kind of maybe sketchier parts of the neighborhood. But overall, yeah, beautiful, kind of shining city, the gem of the nation of Cresponte. Within this city of Twilight Reach, we zoom in on a small sort of suburban home, and specifically zoom into the basement of the home, where we find a young tabaxi, kind of humanoid cat, a girl who is in her little studio apartment, and she's studying. She's in a kind of a studio-sized room with a bed, kind of a disheveled desk. It's dark outside right now, and so it's just lit by lantern light and the moonlight from the window. Kind of knickknacks all over. On the wall, we see that there is a whole collection of like parchment paper all over the wall, and there's like sketches of people and notes and kind of odd artifacts, and all of them are connected together by red yarn, as though someone's putting together a complicated puzzle, and they're trying to connect all the pieces and figure out what's going on here. And in the room across from that wall, on the bed, sitting and staring at this wall intently, we see our hero. Polaris, you want to introduce yourself?
Polaris. Polaris is very cute, but don't call her cute. white with a little bit of gray tabaxi, ever intent on finding the truth with her little red ball of yarn. She lives with her parents and is intent on this new venture of being a journalist, an investigative one. She is a cat. She is a little sassy and not really too afraid of doing what needs to be done, even if it kind of means that's a little bit chaotic, a little bit at the expense of the people around her.
Yeah, and so she is in this little. But she would, if anyone asks her, she would say this is her little studio apartment. It's in the basement of her parents' house, or like the lower level, and she lives there. She's insisted on paying rent, so that she can say this is her studio apartment, and that way she doesn't have to say she is still, living with her parents.
She's a professional. She's a professional. She gets paid. She totally pays rent.
100%. And so she's been down there and she's been studying this case. She's been trying to crack it for a while now. She's thinking this could be her big break, and finally prove to the local newspapers and everyone that she's a serious journalist. And she's been tracking down this thread of this kind of black market trading operation in town. She's not sure what they're trading, some kind of illicit goods, but whatever it is, perhaps most frustratingly, they put out of business her favorite. There's a company, Marco's Milk. They sell just the best milk in town, and this black market trade was infringing on that market somehow. And anyway, ended up putting them out of business. And she is, of course, very seriously just trying to get the scoop on this black market trade, and also probably wouldn't hate to get her favorite drink back on the shelves of the local store. Because that's what she would drink when she was trying to have those late night investigative journalist sessions. So she's sitting here and she's been studying this wall, just hoping that something would jump out, like in every good crime movie. When you see that, the PI is standing there in front of their cork board and just looking at the images, waiting for them to speak to them. And as you, Polaris, are sitting here and you're trying to crack this case, your mom knocks at the door and she kind of cracks the door open a little bit. And she says, "Hey, Polaris, you want some dinner? Your father and I we were just getting ready to sit down and have a bite to eat."
For a moment, she seems like she's gonna accept, and then the stubbornness kicks in. She's, "No, I'm good. Not hungry. I'll eat. It's fine." Just raises a paw towards the door, and then just goes back to her staring, intent on just, I have to prove myself and not be fed by my mother every day.
Her mom kind of looks a little bit more in the room and sees that she's still kind of fixated on this puzzle that she's trying to solve, and looks at it and says, "Hey, so how's the case coming along? It seems like maybe you're making some good progress."
She's stifling a little bit of a sigh. Her shoulders slump for a second. She's like, "Why do I have to keep explaining these things? I'm so close. I don't like to be disturbed when I am trying to catch something. I'm this close, Mom. Like, it's fine. I need to focus. Okay? Thank you."
I like to think that since she's a cat and like cats don't really have thumbs, instead of being able to go like this close, she has to just put her paws together. This close. So close. Her mom kind of steps into the room and says, "Look, hon, I know I've struggled to really get my head around all this journalism stuff that you are really getting into, ever since you've dropped out of the engineering academy. Your father and I, it's just new to us. All we've ever been are professors at the academy. It's all we know. And so, you've just always been a little bit different, out there wanting to go and do stuff and explore and adventure and figure things out. And it's just, your father and I, all we want is what's best for you. We just want you to be safe." Which reminds me, by the way, there's an internship available in the robotics division they say they're really close to cracking some big stuff there, and could be some real money. Not, that we're bothered about you being late on your rent or anything. Lord knows, I'm not sure why you're so determined to pay us rent after all. Anyway, but anyway, we're here if you need anything, and there's extra food upstairs if you want it.
She takes again another just deep breath. Thank you, Mother. I will maybe be up later. Just looks over, gives her a little like, I love you, but I don't like you right now smile, and then just goes back to her.
Yeah, her mom kind of sighs, and it's like, okay, and this is kind of their norm, so she's used to it. And she steps away, kind of leaves the door, closes the door, leaving up just a crack as she heads back up the stairs. As you are now sitting back on your chair, maybe frustrated a little bit from having to have yet another conversation with your mom about, not quite having your career where you want it to be yet, and not quite living up to their expectations the way they thought you would. Give me a investigation check on the wall in front of you.
Alright. That'll be a 19.
With a 19, apropos for a keen investigative journalist, notice...
She's a smart one.
Yeah, you notice for the first time... Well, maybe that's wrong to say. This isn't the first time you notice it, but you're noticing it in a fresh way. Perhaps something about what your mother said about engineering brought back some memories about those couple semesters that you slept through some engineering classes, and you're looking at all these clues. On one of the clues that you see on the wall, it was this kind of woven amulet that you, let's say, borrowed from the room of someone that you were investigating, who you seem to feel as a prime suspect in this case. It's this woven amulet. It's very pretty. It's kind of threads and things. And the closer you look at it, all of a sudden, it's like a light bulb moment. You notice, wait, maybe this isn't just an amulet. Maybe this is something more. You're looking closer and closer, and you realize, wait a minute, this looks just like Twilight Reach. This is a map of the city. And there's a specific spot on this map kind of marked out. And you realize that this is actually a map to a key location, a clue. You don't know what it is, but you know in this moment that this is your big break, that this is going to take you to the heart of this case that you've been trying to crack.
Well, she's going to just completely leap to her feet and be like, I've got it! I've got it! I've got it! She is ready. She's going to gather up all the things she could possibly think that she might need in this moment and just out that door.
Great. Food be damned. Who needs it?
Yeah. There's no milk anyway.
Right. Okay. And so out the door like a dash, she tends to just kind of go through the window, because that way she doesn't have to explain to her parents that when she's heading off, and it makes her feel kind of cool and sleuthy anyway. So she dashes out the window and out into the darkness of the city in the middle of the night. And fortunately, being Tabaxi, she is quiet on her little cat-like paws. And we cut to, she has found her way to the location that was marked on the map. And she finds herself in front of a warehouse. And it's in kind of a unfamiliar part of town to her, a little bit of a darker, kind of seedier part of town. And just looking at the warehouse from outside, you can tell it's illuminated by lantern light inside. There's kind of shadows being cast through the windows, so you can tell there's some people in there walking around. And that's about it. It's just kind of this big structure. You can see it here on screen. This is what you see from the outside. And you know that your next big clue to crack this case and expose this black market trading, this smuggler ring, is inside of this building somehow. And it's now up to Polaris to figure out how to get in without being seen and to find whatever that clue is inside. What do you want to do?
He wants to kind of do a perimeter check to see the different like light situations for the window. See, like, is there a particular window or set of windows that don't have as much lantern light or don't have as many shadows going by? Like, she's looking for the darkest possible entrance.
Okay. Yeah, give me an investigation check.
14.
Okay, with a 14, it's a little bit hard to tell. None of them are standing out a ton, but you do get the sense if you're looking at the western side of the building, you can kind of tell that that's one large room, which seems to have the majority of people in it. And on the eastern side of the building seems to be more of like their kind of little loading dock and some smaller rooms, maybe some offices. And those seem to have more dim light or less movement as you're looking through the windows.
The loading area, does it have a large like roller door or is it like smaller door?
Yeah, it's all just like person-sized doors, except for there's some larger windows on one side, and on the north there is one set of large double doors that seem like probably where they bring like carriages in and stuff. But otherwise, it's mostly all like human-sized doors, which seems a little odd for a warehouse. Typically, you'd expect if they're carrying large things in and out, but yeah, mostly it's all human scale.
Of those two doors that were, or the two areas that were seemed to be a little bit less movement in, whichever one is the farthest from that main area, I think she wants to kind of gingerly test the door and the nearest window, see if either of them happen to be ajar or unlocked already.
Neither of them are. They're both doors. They're not jars. You test the door, and yeah, you find that both of them are locked. You could potentially try to pick them, but right now they do seem to be locked.
Yeah, that's gonna be her next attempt. Whichever door it seems to be the farthest from that large room that she'll attempt to pick.
Okay. So let's adjust the screen here a little bit so we can see. So yeah, you find yourself now at this kind of far eastern door, and I'll move you over there. And give me a sleight of hand check.
7.
So with a 7, you try to pick the lock, but as you do, your lockpick breaks off in the lock, and it makes a little bit of a noise, and the part that breaks off clatters to the ground a little bit. And you hear someone inside say, "Hey, is someone there?"
Pick up her piece really quick and get around the corner to hide amongst, like, I'm assuming those are sunlit, like boxes around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And kind of duck in case anyone comes out.
Perfect. Okay. So you hide. Give me a stealth check.
22.
Dang. Okay. Apropos for a rogue. So you
She's a very little kitty.
You hide behind some boxes, and you hear the door open, and someone puts their head out and looks around for a moment. And after a moment, the alert bar at the top of the screen goes away, and he says, "Must have been the wind," and steps back inside and closes the door.
All right. Where is this? So was it double doors I was trying, or is there a second door at another spot?
So you are at this door that leads to what you could from the windows, it looks like that's probably just a small kind of office. And there was a window next to the door that you tried. And then a little bit further to the north on this eastern face of the building, then there was a set of larger double doors as well.
I think what she'll try to do, let me see if this is a wise, I don't know, that's a wise idea. I'm gonna go up and gingerly try the door again, see if dude forgot to lock it. Unless
Okay.
It's an auto-locking door. See if maybe he was dumb enough to just close it.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an intelligence check. And he rolled a 3. So he forgot. He closed the door. So as you test it, but you'll need to do a stealth check to see if you can turn the handle quietly enough for him not to notice.
All right, I'm going to do that. That's the first one of the campaign. For me, at least.
So you sneakily...
too excited.
You sneak over, exactly. You start to open it and you realize that he forgot to lock it and you're so excited. This is your big break and the door is unlocked. So you open it and in your excitement, you swing the door open and you realize here is a man standing there. This thug is standing in an office and he's just staring at you. Like, hello?
She's just gonna freeze for a second. I'll be like, oh, I didn't know anyone was supposed to be here this late. I came to pick up my stuff.
I don't know about any this is the boss this is the boss's office. What stuff are you picking up?
I left my bag here like earlier in the day. Like, actually, I think it was yesterday. Gosh, the days just fly by. But I left my bag. He said he'd throw it in here and to just come through the back door at the end of the day and like grab it. So, like, have you seen a bag? It's like little and brown. It's got like cute little like cat faces on it.
Who did you say you left the bag with?
She's gonna just like pull something out of her butt, just like a random tough guy sounding name, and hope she magically gets it.
Yeah, that's fine. Give me a random tough guy name.
Actually, could she? No. I've already said it. I've already said that's what she's gonna do. I'll just commit to it. I thought of something else, but. So sorry, my brain just short circuited.
That's fine. Give me a random tough guy name that you give this guy.
Butch.
Okay. Roll for persuasion.
Okay. 15.
With 15. He's like, yeah, Butch. Of course. You know Butch? I didn't know you know him. Yeah, Butch is our Butchface is our boss. That's crazy. I didn't think he really had. I really never see him do much else besides hang out here. I didn't know he had any friends, but
Yeah, he hangs out with some of the guys down at the pub. Like, I thought everybody was like, I would have thought you'd be invited. Like, I mean, I'm supposed to be down there, but you know, if you wanted, I'm sure he would love someone else to come join too. Always down for a party down there.
He failed a whatever check. I'm gonna call it sleight of hand, and it's pretty obvious to you that he got a little bit of a tear in his eye as he realizes he's been left out. I'm sure if he knew I wanted to go, he would have invited me. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. You know, Butch. He's super cool like that. You should run down there and go get him. Like, go join. Like, I needed to get my bag anyway. I'll just post here for you. It's no biggie.
Yeah. I'll go talk to Butch. I mean, he's not at the bar right now. He's inside, in the warehouse, just doing his regular checks. You know how he is. He's always checking in on all the merchandise.
He left out the other door. Like, he was like, he told me he was gonna leave like about like a few minutes around now to head down to the pub, not wait for him, you know, and run in his office because I was gonna like overlap with him by a few minutes. So I run in, get his bag. He's already left. Then we meet down at the pub with people. So he's probably already down there.
You see, this thug's brain is just breaking under the intensity of trying to understand the logistics of this plan, and he just can't. And he looks at you. Roll a deception check.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I gotta find that. There it is. Okay. 17.
Okay. With the deception check, he says, I mean, I guess you seem to know what you're talking about. I'll go try to find him. I'll head this way, and I'll just make sure he hasn't left the warehouse yet. And if I can't find him there, I'll head down to the pub. And
do you really want to like potentially interrupt like all the other guys and then Butch hearing about it? Because then you're gonna sound like kind of clingy, kind of like, oh, I wasn't invited, so I'm gonna really make sure. Like, you gotta play it cool, because if you weren't invited before, like, you gotta, the social, we're in Twilight Reach, man, the social ladder, you gotta be cool about it. Like, if you go in there asking everybody else if he's still here, he's gonna hear about it, and then he's gonna just be like, man, I don't know if I want to invite him if he's gonna be so clingy.
The thug, who we're gonna call him Butterbeard. He says, he walks over and kind of kneels down to get on your level, and he says, okay, look, I'm gonna head down there, head down to the bar. You seem to know Butch, maybe just a little bit better than me. What would you like? What should I talk to him about? Like, if I want him to think I'm cool, how do I get him on my page?
First, you gotta get everybody around. Like, that's the first, because then it's like, oh, this guy's cool. He don't care about his coin. He just cares about the friends.
Right.
You gotta butter him up a little bit, Butterbeard. You know how it goes. And then,
how do you know my name? That's great.
Well, that's your name? No way. That's just what I like to say, man. So you gotta butter him up with a little bit of whiskey, maybe a little bit of little ale, and then you gotta ask him. How about you ask him about his latest tat? He always loves telling the stories behind those.
His latest what?
Tattoo.
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any tattoos, but I'll ask him anyway.
None that you've seen.
Oh.
He wears clothes.
Great. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Well, I'll have to give it a shot. And Butterbeard takes off down the road to try and find this.
Immediately locking that door behind him.
Okay, so you are now in this room. Give me a perception check now that you have this room to yourself for a moment. You can breathe.
13.
Okay. With a 13, you now are able to catch your breath a little bit, and you hear the clattering of a handful of people in this larger warehouse room to the just across the door, outside the door opposite the one that you came in through. And you hear people walking around and talking and muttering, and one voice in particular kind of rings out above the rest, a little bit louder, a little more confidence. And you hear him say, yes, I am Butch, and I am your supervisor. Everything is looking very good. I am very happy with this. I have just a few more stations to check, so everyone make sure that you are, ready to be inspected. And then I would say, the time it takes for potentially someone to do just a couple of checks, I will head back to my office. And he continues to stride around, and you hear him like a footstep and a thud, a footstep and a thud, like someone with a big peg leg. And you look around the office, and you realize this is an office / restrooms. So this is where people come to go and to use the restroom, and this is also where he has all of his files and a table with all of his things on it.
I'm gonna start rifling through the files, seeing what I can see, finding what I can find, reading what I can read.
Great. Okay. Are you trying to do that in a way that's covert, where like you wouldn't notice, or are you just trying to do it aggressively? Here's the trade-off. If you're doing it covertly, then you'll have to do a stealth check first, and then you'll have to do your investigation check to see what you find. But then, you're covering your tracks. Or if you do it more aggressively and you don't care about making a mess, you'll get advantage on your investigation check.
I think she's just so proud of herself right now that she's going to be fairly haphazard. Like, she's fairly confident that she's not going to need to go out there because, like, that does not sound like a good idea out there. I'm just going to get all the dirt on this place and ditch. So I'm just going to dig.
Okay. Great. So you start digging around through all the paperwork and all the things. Go ahead and roll investigation with advantage.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to roll perception on Butch.
It's 12.
With advantage?
Yeah, I rolled an 11 and a 7, and I only have a +1 to investigation right now.
Fair enough. Okay, so with a 12, you notice, you get a pretty good feel for the room, and you see a bunch of different things. You start to notice and hone in on there's on the desk, there's a stack of papers that looks particularly interesting. They look like they've been, everything else he has is kind of just strewn about. It's got stains and stuff on it and it's kind of crumpled, and he doesn't seem to be a super organized guy. But you notice one pile of papers that looks to be organized and tidy, and certainly something that he's trying to be careful with. And that's it. You can't quite tell what it is yet, or if there's any specific papers within that matter. Butch, meanwhile, rolled pretty high on his perception check, and so you hear from the other room. He's kind of across the warehouse, and he says, and he says, someone in my office? And one of his little goons says, hey, I don't know, boss, you might want to check that out. And so you hear him start to stride with his loud thudding peg leg back across the warehouse in your direction. So you only have a few seconds. Time to do one more thing before he's going to get to the door.
She's going to take all those interesting looking papers and shove them in her bag and head towards the door.
Okay. So you just take the whole pile, stash them in your bag.
The ones that seemed neat and important, all in the bag.
Great. Okay. Perfect. As you finish doing that, and then you're going to take off out the door that you came in through?
Yes.
Great. So give me a stealth check to see if you can do that quickly and get the door closed behind you before he arrives.
19.
That'll do it. So with a 19, you get out the door and close it behind you. And just as you're closing it and quietly clicking it closed, you hear him step into the room and say, who's in here? And he looks around, and he too kind of takes a pause and says, must have been the wind. You are now outside. As you kind of get your bearings here, give me a quick perception check for just getting your bearings now in the dark exterior of this warehouse.
12.
Okay. Yeah, with the 12, you look around, and overall it seems pretty quiet. The one thing you do notice is kind of slow trotting of steps coming back up the street. You can't tell who it is. You just hear someone kind of walking slowly back up the street and toward the little outdoor space of the warehouse that you're in.
Where she hid earlier, she wants to just duck back into that hiding spot.
Okay, give me another stealth check to hide.
Really? I can math. 12.
Okay. So with the 12, you hide, but just the top of your head and your little ears are sticking up above one of these boxes. And you hear the familiar voice of Butterbeard as he sits down on some boxes across from away from you. And he just says, Hey, I see you over there.
Okay, she pops out and like, oh, Butterbean, you scared me, man. I mean, you're back fast. How was the pub? How'd it go?
Well, she says, well, I got down there. It's just next door, so it didn't take me very long. And put on the best show I could, got all the people to come over and think I was so cool. And everyone said how great I was. And I was showing them my tattoos and even this really neat tattoo that I have over here of a picture of my mom and this other one that's a picture of my dog. And everyone thought I was so great. And then I asked where Butch was, and they said he wasn't here. And so it was all just a big waste of time. Man, Butch is never going to like me. You know, just sometimes things don't work out for a guy like me.
She's gonna plod on over to him and sit next to him, put her arm on him, and just be like, "It's okay, man. Like, I'm sorry he didn't show. Like, you're so sweet. You're so nice. You got a tattoo of your mom. Like, what are you doing working in this place? Like, what's the attraction for you here? Like,
well, I just love doing illegal things and hurting people. It's just kind of what I like to do. I just always have kind of enjoyed, you know, causing,
is this like the best
doing the
place
crimes.
for that? Like, I hear there's some pretty seedy places in Portaloose, but like you chose here? Like, what?
Yeah, well, my mom lives here, and so I want to do crimes, but I don't want to be too far from my mom. I just got to be realistic.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, so Bush has been like, a little bit on the down low with some stuff with me. Like he's not, you know him. He doesn't always give a lot. It's sometimes hard to get under that skin and like know what everything is about. He's still a little bit hesitant to like let me in on what's going on, and I kind of feel like I'm missing out. Like I said, there's some great spots in Portaloose for some illegal fun, but this is also in like my backyard, and I feel like I'm missing out too. Like, you want to let it in on what's going on? Like maybe I can help show Butch I can be more than just a buddy. I can actually be a partner.
Yeah, roll for persuasion.
Where is that? 15.
Yeah, dang. Okay, so with a 15, he says, well, I got to be honest with you. They really don't tell me much about what we're actually doing here. We're mostly just moving big boxes and discreet cargo, and I can't talk about it too much. You make a good point. Maybe I could do a little bit better than this. How about this? I'm going to go and I'm going to try to give Butch my best. I'm going to see if I can't earn his trust and get in his inner circle. And you know what? If he doesn't let me in, I think you make a good point. I deserve better. And I will march right back out here and I'll tell him I quit and I'll follow you instead. You seem pretty smart, pretty sharp.
Yeah, we all need partners, we all need buddies in this. Like I got you.
Oh, okay. Okay. And he kind of sits
She
up.
really quickly is gonna grab out from her bag like a little piece of paper and scribble down like a drop site in like a couple of different drop sites that if you got information you want to share with me, we can get in on this together, ways that I can help. Like these are my drop sites. Get me the information you need. We got partnership, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, don't leave. I'm going to go. I'm going to try to do this real quick. I'll let you know how it goes. You just stay here. I'm going to walk inside right now, and I'm either going to come out here with a promotion or or you're going to be my new boss. And he
Okay, sounds good.
Straightens up his back, kind of sticks his chin out, and he walks in the room. And he rolls. Not great. You just hear some shouting, and about 60 seconds pass, and you just hear shouting, and the door opens, and you see it closed behind him, And Butterbeard steps out looking very proud for a moment. And then, kind of realizing what he's done, he looks at you and says, "So what's your deal again? Like, what is it? What is it that we're going to be doing in terms of, like, are we doing crimes, or like what is this thing that we're doing here instead? Because I'm super fired."
Investment
Investment.
in crime. We have to get
Oh.
information. I've been slowly accumulating all of the little deets, all the information, the names of all the different crime rings, all the mob bosses, all the suspicious goings on, keeping it all, seeing where all the connections are, because no one wants to work together. But if some people behind the scenes, in the dark, in the shadows, they know who's doing what, what's going where. Little word here, a little coin there. So next thing you know, you're the secret mob boss no one knows about, because you have all the information. You can influence the narrative.
Butterbeard, this is your first time now, as you're realizing that he may be a real ally to you. You kind of take stock of who this person is, and you take a closer look, and you see that he is a kind of piratey looking. Well, I have to justify this because before I said he stooped down. He's been wearing a large cloak, like a trench coat, this whole time. He comes over and he says, "Well, I suppose I won't be needing my uniform anymore." And he kind of shirks this trench coat off, and underneath it, you see that what you thought was about a 7-foot tall, large thug was actually beneath that a fairy that's been flying at 7 feet high, but is really only about 2.5 feet tall. He's the heaviest set fairy you've ever seen, and he's wearing like a red striped shirt like a pirate, and he's got a hook for a hand, and he says, I guess I'm with you now." And he leaves his cloak on the ground, and he says, "Look, they give each of us these little tools so that they can communicate with us wherever we go." He hands you a stone, and he keeps one for himself. He says, "This stone, it should let you communicate with me wherever I go. At least that's how it's supposed to work."
But does it communicate with everybody?
No, they're just 1-to-1.
Perfect.
They're pairs, and he talks into it, and you hear it coming out of your hand. Perfect. Okay, it works. It's on. All right. Well, I'm going to take off and do a little bit of introspection, I think, and I guess just call me if you need anything, and hopefully you'll have some money for me soon, because I'm going to need to keep paying my bills, and you're my boss now. So we'll figure that out, I guess.
Any word you hear, you send it my way.
Okay, sounds good. And he flies off down the street. And you're left in the quiet of the night. In this, the street starts to kind of lightly rain, and you have this satchel full of parchment. What do you want to do?
I think she will try to find like a kind of tucked area with a little bit of light to maybe peek through those papers a little bit. She felt like she didn't have enough time to really maybe read like titles of the papers. Make sure, like, do I have something here, or do I need to go back into this place?
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so as you go through, you're not in any rush now, so I won't make you roll for it. You're able to just kind of take your time, and as the rain kind of patters around you, you're kind of covering it with your cloak and your hood. And you read through, and you most of them are kind of cryptic and don't really make much sense to you. But you get to one document in particular, and pretty quickly your heart kind of starts to race, and the gravity of this whole thing starts to kind of set in. It's a manifest of one of their shipments, and you're reading through it, and initially it seems straightforward enough. It's just a list of things, numbers, says the port of call that they're shipping things to and from is in Portalus, and that's not super surprising. And shipping things to and from Velkora, okay. But then you start to look a little bit closer, and you realize that the list of products, the list of goods that they're shipping, it's not goods. It's not anything that you would have thought. You thought maybe it was like stolen artifacts. No, this is names of people and groups of people. They're shipping slaves. And as you have this realization, you hear inside the room Butch make a noise, like he's just realized that his handful of papers are missing.
She startles, shoves the paper back in her satchel, not exactly nicely, maybe gets a little crumpled in the process, and is just gonna book it back down the street.
Okay. So you take off, just rattled by this realization, and knowing now that they know someone has stolen this. And you run to where?
I think she's gonna head home first.
Okay. All right, so you run back home, you dash through the window, land back in your bed, and you look around, and it's almost like none of that happened. And for a moment, it almost feels like it was just a bad dream. You look around, and your room is exactly the same as it was before. Smells kind of nice. There's a plate of warm food that your mom must have left on your desk for you. And everything else feels completely unchanged, except that you kind of pat your bag, and you're reminded it can't have been a dream. You've got that sending stone, and you got those papers in there.
She has this moment of like, I did it. But then a little, like, looking at the sending stone, she realizes, like, crap, I can't pay my rent. And she's gonna just kind of swallow her pride for a second. She's like, I am so close. I now have an in to the criminal world. As long as I keep him paid. They're selling people. And she just takes a few breaths, like, I'm gonna have to do it. She looks over at the bowl of food on the table that her mom left. She's like, I'm gonna have to do it. And she's gonna go upstairs to her parents to talk to them.
Okay. So she goes upstairs and walks into the kitchen. Kind of the stairs from the basement lead right into the kitchen room. And her parents are there, and they're talking kind of in hushed tones, and they look over. Oh, that Polaris, thank God you're home. We noticed you had left in the middle of the night, and we're so glad you're safe.
She collects herself as much as she can, having to humble herself a little bit in this moment, knowing what she has to do. She's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's okay. I had a really big lead, actually. I've got a massive lead. I can't talk about it. Like, it's a big deal, guys, but it's made me realize I kind of need a little help. Cracking this one's gonna kind of cost me a little bit of. There's some costs coming up, and I'm not asking for a handout. Like, I'm not asking for something free. Like, I will pay back every silver, every coin, every bit I owe. But I just was wondering if maybe you guys could just, if I could borrow a little something.
Yeah, her dad says, yeah, I mean, of course, sure thing, hon. What did you have in mind? What do you need?
I'm gonna have to do a couple little payments for some intel I'm getting from someone. So I need some coin to be able to keep that information flowing. Like, I swear it's not for nothing weird. It's for this break. It's serious. It's so serious. She is so uncomfortable right now.
He says, look, I'll give you a few silver. Let's just call it well, maybe 10 silver be enough to get you where you need to go for now. Should that be good? I mean,
Is she aware kind of like what a good going rate would be for like a low level henchman intel man? Like,
Yeah, probably not. I would think she probably is young and kind of naive enough that, as far as she knows, that might be a great wage. She doesn't really, she's not sure. She's never really had to live in that world.
okay, so then with as hard as this humbling herself is having to be, she's gonna just go ahead and just be like, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, honey. I just, don't get yourself in anything too crazy. Yeah, we care about you. And he heads over to a cabinet and takes a little purse out, a little bag, like a little small leather pouch. He puts a few coins in it, kind of cinches it closed, and tosses it over to you and says, "There you go. If you ever need anything, we're here for you."
Thank you. Thank you. And she just she goes up and gives him just like a really timid hug and then retreats back downstairs.
Okay. As you return back downstairs, you're sitting there and you hear the rain falling outside, the moonlight coming through, and it's just kind of quiet. And you kind of have this realization. You were doing this mostly because you wanted this big break. And you still do. And this particular case you had been particularly interested in because, you wanted to get Marco's milk back on the shelves. But you are realizing in this moment that this is real. This isn't just a case about some people that are stealing some stuff from rich people and maybe that can be newsworthy. This is real people's lives on the line. And you're the only one that seems to be chasing this down. You've not heard anything about this in the local news. You have this lead. And the only real clue you have is what this manifest said about the city of Polaris. Polaris, which you've heard a ton about. You visited there maybe once when you were a kid, when your family went on a vacation, but you've really never spent any time there. It's mostly just a legend to you, this place, this bustling city that people go to. And that's your only clue, is that these shipments of what seems to be people are coming and going to and from Velkora from the docks in Polaris. And so with that knowledge, I think
she's going to head down there.
Yeah, Polaris needs to head out. So you pack up your travel kit and your rogue gear. Is there anything specific you want to make sure you bring with you or that you do before you take off?
Yeah, get that amulet, any special notes, a few different parchments of maybe articles she's been working on the side.
Yeah.
And then she also wants to write just like a quick message to her folks because she's going to go out the window again. Just like, thank you for the money. I promise I'll pay you back. I'll write to you. I'll write to you soon. I promise I'm okay. It's just, this is really, 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 just like a lot of reallys. Really, really big and really important. I swear. And then just like a little scrawling like, I love you, Polaris.
XOXO.
Yeah.
Heart over the eye in Polaris.
Yeah, with little cat ears on the heart.
Yeah, totally. Okay. And so with that note left on the table and a heavy heart, but a determined, fierce determination. And of course, your trusty ball of red yarn you use almost like a fidget spinner. You like to keep it with you. It keeps you comforted when you are trying to crack a case. So you can kind of toss it around. You take off into the night. And like every good sleuth, you walk down the street under these wouldn't be street lights. These would be like the lantern lights, walking through just your silhouette in the lantern light. And some cool clarinet or something is playing in the background as you have your inner monologue about how you're going to head down to Polaris and crack this case and look for whoever is involved in this slave trade and this dock and this crime syndicate. And that is where we'll leave you for today.